Let's have a chat. How are you all doing? Everyone good? Excellent, so am I. Well, look, thanks for coming. Thanks for popping in. My name's Matt. I'm one of the buck Egypts that had the idea to start this thing 10 years ago, in fact. So it's 10 years ago. We only had 9 birthday parties because of this little flu thing that went round. It's a bit of a bummer. But anyway, we're back. We're back now. Second one back since the world stopped. So we're really pleased about that. And so how many of you guys have been here before? Excellent. Look at that. That's pretty good. Right. So listen, most of you will have heard me sort of drone on for a little while. Hope it didn't bore you too much. But I always come out here just at the start of Saturday and Sunday just to say hello from us, from the Metopia team, and sort of just explain a little bit about what we do. So we are obviously a live fire food festival. The original idea was an American thing. So there's a guy called Josh Ozersky, who many people will know. He was an amazing food writer, sort of bon vivant, wrote for Grub Street and New York Times, and amazing man. And it was his idea. So maybe 20 years ago in New York City, he was a champion of everything live fire and everything naturally grown. So I don't know if you know about American meat, but a lot of American meat was kind of very mass produced, and cows sort of fed on grain and stuff and grown big and big fat cows, man, and good stuff, but not how it should be. So Josh was really trying to kind of get people used to the idea of animals being grown naturally, eating what they eat, walking around, having a shit, having some grass, not being kept in a box, not having any part of them removed, or but not because he was a lovely man, but it wasn't really it wasn't because he wanted to hug animals. He wanted to eat them. But I mean, he just felt that the happier ones and the naturally fed ones tasted better. And God damn it, he was right. It's absolutely true. So 10 years ago we came over here with Josh, and it was kind of like a love affair of meaty guys and burning shit and cooking cow. We had a lot of barbecue guys come over from the States. Amazing. It was going to be a one-off show. But somehow we managed to, I don't know what we did. Well, it's 10 years, so something happened.
Well, it became Josh's favorite festival, our incarnation over here. And Josh famously said, I don't know if you already did this, I just kind of got my mic. His famous quote was, "I like my food to have parents."
He did. And he also used to say, damn it, would vegetarians stop eating my food's food?
That's it. Yeah. That's it, man. Quit eating my food's food.
But he was a great guy. So
he just kind of partied too hard.
Oh, he did. He loved to
Not
party.
good when you have epilepsy.
No. So he unfortunately he's not with us anymore. But what I always do, and where's my drink? So what I always do when I come to this show is I always hold up a glass for Josh Ozersky, who's up there in the great cow field in the sky, and.
If it wasn't for Josh, we wouldn't be here.
Always remember the creator. Mm-hmm. But anyway, we've kind I think we moved it on quite nicely. It's bigger than ever. Hey, there's my daughter. Hi Teddy, how are you?
Hi Teddy.
Hello. And she's been here. So she's starting secondary school on Monday.
Man.
She's 11. When she first came here, I've got a picture of her with a Metopia logo, which she wasn't as big as, was she? So she's you've been here for the whole thing, haven't you? Excellent.
Don't you start getting me crying right now, Matt, because it is the beginning of Saturday, dude.
There's something in my eye, damn it. But look, that's not what I'm here to tell you about. My family is obviously great, but that's not what I'm here to tell you about. I'm here to tell you, first I'm going to introduce you to this guy who's been with us since the start as well, Mr. Christian Stevenson, DJ Barbecue.
Yeah, I had to audition for this job. It was the weirdest audition because I turned up at Hawksmoor with Matt and Richard Turner, and they go, we don't do food demos. We do rock and roll. We want this to be AC/DC, Iron Maiden, Carly Rae Jepsen, the best artists of our time. And then Richard goes on to order the entire menu of Hawksmoor, and we were doing a sausage tasting, and it's lunchtime. I'm thinking, oh God, that's a lot of meat. And I go, oh, I love your cream spinach. I love the Hawksmoor cream spinach. He goes, I bet you can't guess the secret ingredient. And I go, all right, okay. Is this part of the test? Yeah. Okay. To get to be the host of Metopia, I was like, well, there's rosemary. He's like, yeah, that's the easy one. I go, red onions? Yeah. And then I kind of went to it and I go, is it nutmeg? And Richard's like, did you read my book? I go, you have a book? You didn't read my book. No, I have not read the book. Is this part of the test? What's going on? And then I got the job.
And you were in.
And I was in.
You was in.
I was made, like in the mafia.
You know, Richard, one of Richard's things is you go. I don't know if you guys know Richard Turner. He's kind of, he's seminal meat man. Looks like looks like he's both.
Well, it's yours and Richard's and Josh's thing.
Yeah, absolutely. No,
and James George.
They were good buddies. But his thing is you go to a restaurant with Richard Turner, and the server gives you the menu, and he'll look at it and he'll go, "Yes, please."
That's
brilliant. That's
my kind of ordering,
you ever get
man.
a chance to go for a meal with Richard Turner?
Yeah, yes, please.
But,
I'll have it all.
So Meatopia, it's not. I mean, there's lots of food festivals out there. Some great, some greater. I think the difference with us is we choose all our chefs. So me and the team, we go out all year and we invite people. All these chefs have been invited. We go and taste the food. We build the menu. We balance it. Everyone's got to be using sort of ethically raised meat. All the fuel comes from this man here, Mr. Mark Parr, who makes proper charcoal, proper wood. It's all sustainable. It's all properly dried. He'll tell you about that. I'm not gonna tell you about wood while Mr. Wood is here. So, but that's what we do. I think that's one of the things that make us different. Every day's got a specifically planned menu, which I try and eat as much of as possible. But I am only one man.
Why don't you tell them what you had first thing this morning? Because if you're going to open up with any kind of dish, you came up with a doozy from the Cigardi guys.
So the guys over on Cigardi, who do amazing meat anyway, they had a piece of this 16-year-old Galician blonde. So the chop, the sirloin chop was like that, wasn't it?
But you mentioned that the fat looked like custard.
Like custard.
Like
orange,
your
like
shirt, sir. That it was the color of your shirt. There we go.
Yeah.
The best custard in the world.
Custard.
It's on the side of a cow on a sirloin ribeye.
Honestly, it was delicious. I mean, really, but I'm not a vegetarian. I will never be. But I will try and eat less crap meat and more good meat. That's our message. So if you're going to eat meat, eat all of the animal. Don't. Well, people say, what bit shall I give to the dog? None of it. Don't give any to the dog. The dog can be vegan.
Yeah.
Eat all of it.
He'll be
all
fine.
the bones down. That's what we do.
Well, we've also got a lot of people championing offal, which is another one of our missions. And you've got a Welsh lamb tongue with Chris Roberts and Laura Sylvester.
Chris Roberts. That man's a magician.
Yeah, they got our fermented hot sauce with that. I just had a big handful of it. It was beautiful.
He's he comes from the valleys in Wales, and
he'll be on just after 2 because we're a lot later than we should be. Yeah, but he'll be on.
But we did an online thing for the year that didn't happen, and he was cooking on his grill, sort of like this, and then he turns the camera around and it's just like mountains, and it's like, that's where you live, dude. It's unbelievable. But anyway, look, we've got a really good show on. He's going to take you through this anyway. This is all good. Mark's going to come on in a minute. He's going to show you around our new kitchen, tell you about what's going on with that. He's then going to do a little the first session at 1, the fire, the vine, the Frenchman and the Trencherman. That's going to be great. Chris Roberts is on at 2 o'clock. Hatem Matar at 3 o'clock. He's a lovely man. I was out for dinner with him on Thursday. He's the first Middle Eastern pitmaster. And he's got a farm in Dubai, like a little oasis by all accounts. He's a fantastic guy. Mark Rosati. So Josh's favourite burger was Shake Shack, right? He loved the bun, the potato bun. The
potato bun, man. They're incredible.
Yeah, so they're massive now, but they've still kept it real. And their burger is epic. So they're on Hang Fire Girls. Can't beat the Hang Fire Girls.
Sam and Shauna. They rule, and you can actually eat their food on tap today. So not just on stage, you can actually have their food on tap.
And then my guys from Turner and George. So we've got this. I'm part of Turner and George as well. And what we've started doing.
What is Turner and George?
Turner and George, my friend, is an epic butchery, online and a shop in Clerkenwell. But we specialise in ethical meat from just as nearby as we can get it. If we get a new farm, we get on a train, go down and see it. Look at the animals, make sure they're kept well. Almost always end up eating some excellent meat in a kitchen with a farmer, which is just it's always a great trip. But what we're doing particularly is this beef that's grown on no plough farms. So they do this. If you plough a field, all the carbon comes out. If you don't, it stays down. It's a big carbon sink. So they've got these, when they plant crops, they plant them with a kind of a needle wheel, so you don't plough it. And then the cows come along and eat a bit of it, have a little shit, they move on. Then you grow another row and it just all,
If you've referenced cows pooing twice.
Mate, all ends of the cow are great.
That's a new one for you.
It's good shit. But listen, anyway, I've banged on forever. I'm going to go another Josh Ozersky, another Christian Stevenson, Come on, give us a cheers.
There we go to Josh.
To Josh and to you guys as well, because you guys will make it, and I love to see you all here and your happy meaty faces. And yeah, have a good one. I'm going to watch. He's going to do it. See you
Thanks,
later.
Matt. Give it up for Matt Camp. Wasn't for Matt, we wouldn't be here. And Josh Zazersky. But Matt was the creative that listened to Josh and said, okay, we're going to make this happen. My name is Christian Stevenson, a.k.a. DJ Barbecue, and I'll be hosting today. We are behind time, so I'm going to bring our first guest out, Mark's Furniture. He's been here from the get-go, and he read this book when he was ill for a bit, and thank God you're not ill anymore, God. Oh, God, I love that you're healthy and awesome. But he dove into this book. And it's all about kind of the merge of Koffman, Pierre Koffman, and Ferguson. So English, French cuisine. So please welcome to the cutting room stage, Mark Parr from London Logs, the Wood Whisperer.
And many other things. Hello, am I in?
Yeah.
Hello, it's me. Good afternoon. Thanks for coming. I just want to, yeah, I've been here since the beginning. When was that, 2013? Which way am I?
Hold on. Let's move you down here. I want to move your microphone down here a little bit. There we go. Try that.
That's it. Well, that feels much better. I've been here since 2013. We put all the fire into Metopia. I don't make charcoal. This guy here makes charcoal. Very good charcoal in the UK. And we've been friends for a long time. But I get charcoal together from places that try and make it the best they can without smashing up the planet. So you'll come to Metopia. I mean, guess that's quite a lot of people. Who's been here before? Who's seen me before? Ah, shit. Hang on, wait a minute. Just let me read my notes. Yeah, that was last year. That's the shopping. So what we try and do with Metopia, we try and have things on the stage to cook with which are current and new things, like you can see here. Christian? Help.
So I'm just trying to get the thing to not...
Is that it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. We try and have new things. So if there's anything you see on here and you want to know what it is and I haven't mentioned it, put your hands up, yeah? Or just ask if you want to just blurt it out. Because this is a conversation two-way. What is it? See, this lady's listening. And so what we try and do is we try and have bits of kit that you might have seen, but we try not to be too clicky with the kit we have. There you go. Is that better? In that, we try and have things that you can relate to, and that if you're right at the beginning of your journey with cooking on fire, you might be able to go to like home base or B&Q, something like a Weber. Lots of people. Who's got a kettle barbecue? Charcoal? Gas? Anyone? It's okay. You can have gas. Well. You'd have to be a millionaire to have gas now, or Russian, so either one. So we've got a Weber, which is a ubiquitous bit of kit. We've got this new piece of kit here, which...
When you say this is hot, am I allowed to grab that or not?
You can, that's grabbable, but
it is hot, though.
It did say fucking hot, but I thought that was rude and we couldn't say that, so...
Is something happening in here right now?
Not yet. It's just hot. We're going to be using it throughout the event. This is built by a guy called Jason, who I promised I wouldn't point him out. Jason, where are you? He's over there. That's not Jason. Hello. He said he doesn't do public speaking, so he does waving, so that's right.
Oh, what a beast. Look at the real estate on that.
Yeah, it's kind of a bit like the Myron Mixon type thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know? If you're into, there's a massive growth in barbecue, obviously. Otherwise, a lot of us wouldn't be here. And you know, but this is a beast of a bit of kit. But Matt's been cooking on it. There you go. So it's charcoal fired. It's got 2 levels in it. Holds heat endlessly. Fantastic. And then there's various things hanging up and hanging around. This curious setup really is. One of my favourite things is just a couple of bricks and a grill across, because I call it a field grill, because wherever you are, you can find something to make a grill out of. And if that's what you can find, you can cook anything. I mean, this just happens to be an amazing bit of beef and some Dexter, which was brought down from Lakeland Dexter this morning. So it's just about variety and not getting too hung up on kit. Although we all love to own loads of kit, don't we?
But it's funny you said that because my favorite thing to cook in my backyard is on a classic Weber 57, the Master Touch.
Yeah.
I mean, I've got all the kit
Yeah,
because
me
I
too.
can.
Yeah.
But I don't fire hardly anything up apart from that.
Don't
And I'll do briskets and shoulders on there. I don't mind.
Don't tell all the people that send us kit that
No,
we
no,
don't
no,
use
no. I
it.
know. No, but I like using it all. But I just know where I'm at with that, and it's also the one that's most accessible
Yeah.
and affordable.
Yeah.
Buy
like
the
it-
best you can afford is what I always say.
Yeah, definitely. I don't take anything that I wouldn't buy.
Right. Yeah.
But also as well, it's what if you walk down in your pants and you want to put a barbecue on, I'd probably put that on.
Yeah.
It's easy, isn't it? You can know where you're at, set it,
You know you're right.
off you go, or unless you're doing a field grill. And then we got Matt Cross, who's just disappeared around here. Matt's a real chef, so it makes our lives and my life definitely easier because I'm going to talk to you today about a dish which I have a slight obsession about, and it kind of informs the title of this talk, this conversation, which is The Fire, the Vine, the Frenchman, and the Trencherman. It's quite a long title, isn't it, for a conversation? But we'll break it down bit by bit together. We'll all be inclusive, and then we kind of understand where I'm coming from. So, what happened last year when I was here, briefly, is I wasn't very well, and I didn't really know how unwell I was. I was diagnosed with cancer, but I'm okay, as you can see. I'm not dead, which is fucking great. And yeah, thank you. Yeah, this is quite emotional actually, being alive. I was diagnosed with throat cancer, and which is a pretty fucking scary thing. I also got married, which was great. Yeah, my wife's gorgeous, so it was scary and gorgeous and good, and I couldn't quite believe it happening. And then I had this really radical surgery, which is this: they put a $2 million robot down your throat, and they operate it. And
You had a $2 million robot in your throat.
I did, yeah. It's amazing.
Jeez, not many people can say that.
They 3D scan your head if you're a tech guy, and then they sort of put you in a certain position, and they guide this robot into your head, and then it operates. They have a TV, massive TV. They can be anywhere in the world, the surgeon. Luckily, he was next to me. I was like, he's not
a little bit more reassuring, isn't it?
Yeah, like, he's out. He's in a bar doing it off his phone. And then with lasers and all these James Bond-style technology things, they managed to make me better. And then 6 months of radiotherapy, which isn't much fun. That's the bit I can't tell you. But anyway, it gives you time to take some time out and, reflect and do things, because you're pretty immobilized after that. Once they've zapped you with all the technology, you need to take some rest. But your brain doesn't stop flying around. So it was in read mode. And I read this book, which I'm going to highly recommend. It's Oz Clarke. Does anyone remember Oz Clarke? Yeah? So he was that guy from the BBC. Was it Good Food or Food? What was it? Food and Drink. He was the drink of Food and Drink. He's the man who used a comparison, wine tasting or wine nosing notes. He said lawnmowers, petrol and grass clippings. That's one of his references. That's probably why he's not on TV anymore, actually, come to think of it. But anyway, this book. So it's about the rise of British viticulture, the British vineyard. And what do we know about British vineyards? What are we doing with wine in this country? What are we good at now? Anyone? Any idea? There you go. Which is like what? Yeah, exactly. It's like
England's crushing it with their own version of Champagne.
Yeah, they are.
Ridgeview Estate over in Sussex. So many, because as climate change is happening, we seem to have the right terroir and temperature to grow these kind of grapes.
And if you're interested in it, and I kind of got this and thought I'd sort of pick at it, and then I just couldn't stop myself reading it. It's a really amazing, interesting story how Timber back in 1994 decided to throw a huge amount of money, tax relief, at a project which was they were convinced they could grow the same grapes for champagne. Who knows what grapes they are? Do anyone know the varieties? I do, because I've read this. So it's Pinot Noir, which we all know, and Chardonnay, which we all know, and then another Pinot, which is called Pinot Meunier, which means like the Meunier is like the baker because it's a dusty looking vine and it looks like it's got a flower on it. And those three, they're the sort of the sort of royal trio to make a champagne like drink, sparkling wine as we call it, English sparkling wine. And that's what a lot of people have been planting. And just to give you an idea of scale, the guys down at Chapel Down are just this year, I think they're up to 980 acres of English vineyard. So it's really, really, really serious business. And this is like a guide to where all the vineyards are. And where you get wine, food follows. So I've been going and having a look at these as part of my recovery. It's really hard work, but I'm getting better. And I've been looking at these vineyards, and it just blows your mind if you're interested in vineyard and viticulture. Luckily, through my work, because I'm involved in supplying the restaurant industry, I do get to travel, and I've travelled to lots of vineyards because some of the things, here's the segue, we're cooking on, is from the vineyard. So, and I've looked around lots of vineyards, so it's a really exciting thing that's happening because agri-tourism is a really growing part of the industry. So vineyards are getting restaurants, hotels, all those sort of things. There's a really lovely one that I've been going down to.
They're becoming destinations, aren't they?
Yeah,
for
amazing.
like everything.
Have you been to Tillingham?
No.
Has anyone been to Tillingham? Yeah, no? You should really go. It is incredible. They've gone the next step in wine. They've gone more like low intervention pet nat. Although they do an area where they do English sparkling, they predicted an evolved wine palette, which we are growing here massively. And they now make really amazing sort of like orange wines and low intervention wines and pet nat, which is a kind of fizzy wine with a bottle cap on the top of it instead of a champagne cork. Really interesting wines. And they've got hotel rooms, they've got a restaurant with a green Michelin star, and it's definitely the future of our viticulture. So we're going to see a lot more of it. So thinking about that and thinking about the journey into, obviously, because I've got a lot of time, I had a lot of time in my hands. And so I just thought, like, if Pierre Koffman meets Fergus Henderson. So Pierre is the Frenchest of French chefs. So Matt's going to make this dish real. So I thought, what would happen if Pierre meets Fergus? What would you come up with? What would be the dish? So, like, where does barbecue start and stop? And where does, is? But in its, like, if you boil it down to its basics, it's a grilled beef steak with red wine sauce. It's watch him on YouTube because he's so nonchalant about cooking, and he's a god, isn't he?
He is a god, Pierre Koffman, and his chips are to die for.
They're amazing. So Pierre was, he was describing this Entrecote Bordelaise and the Bordelaise sauce, and it's like he opened my eye up for the Bordelaise because it's from Bordeaux. I was thinking, oh, you have to have red wine, and he says, it doesn't matter. Red wine, white wine, doesn't matter. And I was like, hey, see, it doesn't matter, just to have a wine sauce. So I was like, okay, that's kind of liberating. And he also opened my eyes to another thing. Why don't a lot of restaurants sell?
I always thought, like, if you go to some, watch out. Dude, what are you doing?
I thought it had a cork in.
Don't look.
This is made by, I bought a French wine in because it's made by this lovely, it's an amazing brand, and they sell it at Claridge's and things. Extra 35 quid making your Entrecote Bordelaise. It's an expensive thing. So my thought was, what would happen if it is a steak? Exactly. Good. Where is it? What is it? What type? Where from? So a grilled ribeye. Yeah. And so it is round Entrecote part. And this other one at the back, this, what do you call it? Killing? Dispatching. Is all of the same as a big cow, but shrunk into a small cow. They shove you. They run past and run into you. They're quite challenging little things. Fergus and Pierre Koffman meet in a vineyard, and they decide they're going to do Entrecote.
I want to see.
Happen.
I want to make that happen.
So I just he
show this off because
have
this
you
is
cooked,
sexy.
Has anyone
Matt.
cooked bone marrow at home? Have you cooked bone marrow at home? Yeah. I'm not going to grab that because
No,
really
that's
hot.
really hot. But I mean, I just wanted to show because he started doing all the sexy stuff over here, and I'm like,
Yeah,
do the
come.
sexy stuff in front of them. I mean, that's nectar of the gods right there.
Exactly.
Bone marrow. I mean, a lot of times I'll just get a cold one and scoop it out and put it into my burger with just umami, creamy, beefy goodness.
Has anyone cooked these at home? they're easy to cook, and you can pick them onto toast or you can add them into a sauce. Don't tell your cardiologist. Just 25 minutes, but put them on a tray. Sometimes people wrap the bottom to stop them leaking, or you just get a much longer one. Depends. The longer you cook them, they render to basically to liquid.
Just don't lose the fat.
Yeah. So basically, we're putting this gorgeous. Do you want this one? Yeah. Just swap over this beef butter, cow butter, onto this.
Yeah,
so
cow butter. Well said.
What do we call this? A trencher. Why? Why is it called a trencher?
It's like you're a teacher and you're just asking questions.
I
And we're
know,
like, I
because
don't know.
this
It's
is
Saturday. I turned my
Yeah,
brain
okay.
off, you know?
Yeah. Trencher, French, trancher, a slice. Yeah? The pan with the holes in, it can be for whatever you want, really. But it's good for mushrooms and vegetables, and you can put them over the fire, things like that. Chestnuts, classically, that sort of thing. Anything you want to get a bit of aromatic and smoke around, it's a nice thing. Mushrooms are really, really good like that. So a trencher is essentially a plate, a bread plate. And so a trencherman was someone who used to help give out food in pubs and festivals, etc. So hence you got this. So we got basically a bread plate with steak on. It's not as romantic as an Entrecote Bordelaise, is it? So, which we're going to take. Are these ready to come off yet? Nearly. The old nearly. So, and then my thoughts on where a restaurant dish becomes a barbecue dish becomes a restaurant dish is for me, when I went to France and I started going to the vineyards and started seeing what they were doing, it's just a huge group of people who are just wholly obsessed with what they do, and that's the same as, you know, people making wine, people cooking food, and you get sort of slowly drawn in, and it not demystifies it, but it makes you realise that, you know, you can make these things. It's just applying your thoughts to it, and, you know, and approaching it with a good heart. Once you give your heart left after eating all this bone marrow, the last heart you'll ever have, and it's something to do if you're into cooking and if you're into barbecue, the point where they cross over. And what's happened in the restaurant business with the classic French kitchen, they're a small kitchen, and you've got a salamander, you've got a stovetop and pans. You know, this part was taken out of the equation, you know, cooking it over fire. But when I went to France to source these vines, when I first started going, the French weren't very keen on an Englishman turning up saying, "Can I buy your vines?" In fact, they told me to piss off, basically, a number of times. But these here, I hope this doesn't squeak and squeal. This stuff, this is the bit. It's a bit of agriculture here, or viticulture. This bit here is the bit that grows every year. So this is the salmon, or the sarmiento in Spain. And they clip this off every year, and they leave this, which is the cepa, which is the bit that comes out of the ground. So this might be 40, 50 years old. So if you think of it, this is like a sort of fruit juice highway.
A wood fruit juice highway.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then these are like the B
I'm
roads.
going to nick that one. That was good.
Yeah. And then, you know, grapes grow off of it. And then so all these beautiful minerals and all this fruit juice have been through this. And so some of its signature gets left behind. And it's free. You know, nobody makes charcoal in the vineyards. So they've got all this material. So, and they've got beef. So why the hell aren't you going to put those two together? And there you go. So they burn this down. And I met this very lovely guy who I still work with, who's called a fagotier. He collects these sticks. And
what's the job for someone who collects the sticks in a vineyard? A
fagotier. So a bundle of sticks is called a faggot of sticks. Yeah?
A fagotier.
Yeah. There's why, and I mean this really politely, why those who stick together, a faggot. Yeah? and the
Well, I mean,
derivation.
I love eating a faggot. I love a
Yeah.
posh faggot, with
Yeah.
gravy and stuff. You
Yeah.
know, pig's heart,
and fagista.
cooked in caul fat.
Yeah, I
love a
that.
faggot.
Yeah. So anyway, the guy who bundles the sticks up is called a faggot of sticks. It's called a fagotier, and he bundles these up. Anyway, I went to stay with him, and I was at his place, and he showed me outside, out of his window, and there was a pile of ash about like this high, and then there was just 2 breeze blocks, just like this. And I said, "Oh, that's amazing! What's going on out there?" And he said, "The guy who used to own this building, who I eventually bought the building off, he used to come here for 30 years every Sunday and cook this entrecote beef." And I was like, "Oh my God, it's amazing." He said, "Yeah, he died." And I was like, "Oh, that's really sad. That's really like beautiful." And he said, "No, the man was a bastard." He said he came here. If you look over the other wall, there's just hundreds of empty wine bottles. So he used to come there and drink and cook his entrecote, go home drunk to his wife, fall asleep, and leave the rubbish everywhere. So, but it's a romantic story to a point. But it's part of a wonderful tradition to cook over the vines. But it's also useful because they make a very fine coal.
But I just found out the term for a bundle of the faggots. It's called a pimp.
Is it?
So Matt Williams, who's another woodsman like yourself.
Oh my God, this guy's the real deal.
And he said when you have Matt, what is it? When you have the entire bundle of vineyard sticks.
Well, in the UK, it wouldn't be from vineyards, but you still make faggots for wood-fired ovens.
Yeah,
and when
that's
you
it.
bundle them all together, that's a pimp.
There you go. Well,
That's
see,
called a
some things are
pimp.
coming out.
You're learning so much here today. I'm learning so much here
Well,
today.
if you think of the other faggots term, it's like people who stick together. It's also fagista for fascists, like those who stick together.
Okay.
So, there's a dark side to it, as ever. Trump gets in here somewhere,
Let's
doesn't
not
it?
go there,
No, anyway,
please.
moving
Let's
on.
not go there, please.
Trump
So
and steak.
apologies
Trump
from this
steak.
American to the world.
No, there's none
Oh,
here.
I'm staying
So
here.
anyway, cooking beef over vines is a wonderful tradition. But now we've got our own vineyards, so these things will be eventually available. These bundles of, sticks and vines will be available. Just keep your eye out for them. Ask them. Go to vineyards, pick them up, use them. They're a wonderful thing. If you want to cook a steak, you need about 5 kilos of vines, but don't try and do it indoors, because the fire from about 5 kilos is about 30 meters high. No, not 30 meters. It's huge, the fire they make, to burn down for a small amount of coals. Or you can do it in a fireplace at home. Yeah.
The thing is that is the best way to get the flavor for like a live fire cook is to actually make your charcoal fresh.
Yeah, exactly.
Because
And
you retain the wood note flavors. That
exactly.
is-
But
'cause
that's the bit that's been sort of engineered out in the restaurant where, so maybe this is more like the original version because you've got the aromatic from the wood. It's more French than the French. Can I say that? No.
you can say that,
I
dude.
don't
They just
mean
put
it.
butter and everything and say it tastes better.
Yeah.
So
So how are we doing, Matt? That's it. It's a waiting game.
well,
It's a
are you
beautiful
guys hungry? Because all of our demos are edible.
It's an edible demo.
Yeah, we don't do
You get to
demos
eat
where
the
you don't
plate.
get to eat. We make all this lovely food and then you don't get to taste it. Here at Meatopia, every demo is edible, and Matt does have his temperature probe to make sure everything's good. He knows what he's doing. Yeah, you brought the best of the best on stage for you, didn't you, Mark?
Well, yeah, we have to. That's the rules of Meatopia.
It
isn't
is.
It is. We are. We make ourselves indispensable, indisposable. What's the phrase? It's valuable.
You supply the fuel. I'll supply the mouth. And I gotta say, Dexter is one of my favorite. Like a ribeye off of Dexter.
Amazing.
If it's got the best terroir, the
Yeah.
best flowers and plants to eat. That is
Yeah.
my go-to steak.
Yeah,
I
it's-
love a Dexter. A little bit smaller, a little bit ornery.
They are Larry.
Larry cows.
Oh, and just like a few things. This
Is this the French part right now, where he's
No,
just
this
throwing a
is
lot of
just a
butter
bit-
in there?
this is where the French come in. Yeah. These pans are made by some guys in the UK. If you're interested, they're made of steel. They're called Maddock. They're really good. They come as a set. This is a joy stove, which is a fierce little stove that goes on forever. that is a really good bit of kit to be using. But you know, you just got a pile of heat, a pile of wood, a grill. It's handy we've got a good chef to fill in for us. Come on, Matt. If you want to follow him on Instagram, it's Crossfire Cooking. He's really good at barbecue, better than anyone I know. It's not, you know, notwithstanding getting into deep water here. How we doing? Come on, let's get it up here. Come on. Now, this is the bit that scares me. When we put food out, seemingly polite people, like this one here, she's smiling. She's like, I can see she's got 1 foot ready on the, like, 1 foot ready to go. Seemingly polite people, in fact, the better the festival, the worse behaved the people I've ever met are. So if you go to your butchers, you'll generally find that off the bone. That's a lot of the time.
Yeah, but I always think the sweetest meat tastes the best. The sweetest meat is next to the bone.
Yeah,
and that's where I want. That's the one I save for the chef.
Can you smell it from there?
The wind's blowing the wrong way. Should I move the steak over there?
I'll walk round like I'm Catholic, so if I wave this, you may have some resonance with you. You know. Oh, that is. And is this the Dexter? I'm not passing comment. I'm not cooking. Yes, what? To temper it. So we started grilling it at about 12:15, Matt? Yeah. 12:15. So it's just a really nice way to slowly bring it up to temperature, tempering, and then bring it back down. I mean, you can hang it for like a couple of hours. If it's not, you just keep an eye on the temperature and then bring it down. It's really good, though, because it really relaxes all the connective tissue, all the bits that are, you know, holding it together. It gets, this is looking amazing. Sorry, I'm distracted.
Because you guys built the most gorgeous crust on that.
Yeah,
I mean,
the crust,
that little bit of bark right there is where all the flavor is.
Matt cooked at my wedding. It was amazing. You should have been there. No, the tempering is where you get the heat gently into the meat, and it becomes closer to the sort of atmospheric heat in the place. And then when you get the colour, when you cook it, it brings it up. But because is this correct, that when it brings all the proteins to the surface, that when you put it to the fire, you get the Maillard effect, which is where it browns and gets all that lovely juiciness and seals. It doesn't seal it in, but it gives it a more of a firm outside. Are we talking? This is talking dirty, isn't it?
Yep.
Talking dirty with beef.
Sexy.
Yeah, okay.
Sexy, Mark.
So I'm distracted, even by my own talk. But so it's a really good way of bringing the beef. I mean, you can, Matt,
hold that up.
A lot of people reverse sear their steaks.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, that looks good, dude.
Yeah, Matt is pretty good at it. Hence why I do the talking, he does the cooking. So, but it's a great bit of beef. English, grass-fed. So some of this comes from the Lake District, from Lakeland Dexter. There he is. The guy, Mark, wave. This is what I love about doing this event and being in this business. You grow very long-term relationships with geeks, basically. Like this guy got in contact with me. I farm Dexter, and it was like that's like talking dirty down the phone to me, you know. And he's like, I'm up in the Lake District. Can I send you some stuff down? And we get chatting, and then he got in contact. I'm coming down to Meatopia, and I was like, is there any chance? Because I know that some people are like, is there any chance you could send some? So he turns up at the door, sends me a message. I'm at the gate. He's got a big bag of meat and bones and everything like that, which is a wonderful thing to be greeted with, you know. So you have him to thank for that. And then the others, there you go. And look into the Dexter. It's a very unique, beautiful animal that was nearly extinct, wasn't it? Yeah. In the 70s. Yeah, it was nearly, a lot of things were nearly extinct in the 70s, come to think of it, weren't they? It was nearly extinct in the 70s, and then it's become this, I always think it's ironic, rare breed that you eat, but, counterintuitive in some ways. But, and then the others, and it's about shopping local. I don't know where you live. I live down in Kent now. See, jacking around. I live down in Kent, so we got these guys called Larder, and that's where these come from. I went in yesterday, and he had opened the dry ager and said, "What do you want?" Which is a really lovely thing, and cut the first 4 ribs off for here today. So it's quite good. I think I've lost count. I think I might have a couple of spare at the back. So they might have to come home. That's looking.
That is tasting insane. Sorry to make sure no one was gonna get poisoned later. Yeah. But that is one of the best pieces of meat I've had in a very long time.
A wetness at the same time.
Making sure everybody's gonna be okay later.
Now, how are we going to do this? Are we going to be polite and let the ladies come first and take? I think so. I think so. I think so. These sexist pigs don't think you should. No, I think. Look. Oh dear.
Uh-oh. It's the Justin Bieber concert of food, of meat, of Meatopia.
Look. Okay, we'll keep one back for the guys and one for the girls. There we go. We'll keep one back. You guys
didn't even have a chance.
That nearly went very wrong.
Oh my God! Well, so
I'm
wrong.
Put that there
so
for
right.
the guys. Yeah, of course he is.
You want? There we go. You want the fat, don't you? You were here first. You get the fat. Does anybody want a big hunk of fat with theirs? No, not really. Anybody into their fat? You want to marry this fat, sir? You had your hand up first. Mm-hmm. Let me get a little bit of salt on that fat for you.
You would have done. That's for the guys, because we're kind of trying to be democratic.
There's a little bit of meat in there, but there's a lot of just crispy fat. That's going to be like an umami bomb when you jump in on that.
This went very badly wrong.
No, it didn't. It went very badly right.
Yeah.
Do not forget that.
It was Christian's idea. I just applied it.
What? Now you're blaming it on me?
Right, we have to keep some for otherwise we're going to fall out with our male friends. Okay, that sounds good. Is it good? Clap him. If you're eating it, you can just hum. Mm-hmm. You can stamp your feet or... Oh, people are sharing. That's good. That's good to see. Phew, that kind of got me out of it. Oh, up to you, yeah. Yeah. Should we have one wind down? We'll just have a wind down.
Yeah. So that is first off, well done, Matt, on the cooking,
yeah,
dude.
Matt,
he
amazing.
nailed it. What do you guys think?
Matt.
Pretty good?
Thank you.
Can I get a big round of applause for Matt? Matt, and also Mr. Mark Parr.
Thank you.
England versus France, and we won. Let's go storm Normandy, dude. Come on.
Yeah, do it.
We need more gunpowder, right? Yes, we do. Let's take out France. Just kidding. I love France. I'm just kidding. Yeah, we love France. So we're going to have Chris Roberts up here next up doing Welsh next level food. He's also got the Welsh lamb's tongue up on the top with Laura Sylvester, an incredible cook as well from the Hunter-Gatherer Cook crew from Baco Roca. And fill your boots, get stuck in, and enjoy. We'll get more edible demos coming up in about 10 minutes.